Hi, this is Shannon Hennig. I'm a speech therapist, and I wanted to share some of my thoughts on test questions and why I have some concerns about them because I think they get overly used and there's some unintended consequences. But first, what's a test question? So when I ask you something, what's your name? And I already know the answer. Often this person already knows that I know the answer. So for example, what color is your shirt? Well, you already can see it, unless you're blind. When's your birthday? Well, if you're the doctor checking, that's fine. If you're a friend who forgot, that's fine. If you're my mother, that's not okay, because I know you know. Johnny, what's your name? Yeah, that one's a little bit obvious. We've already said it. Because it is actually socially wrong to ask people questions that we already know. It can be patronizing, and it's not a useful thing. And how many of us have students where they ask repetitive questions and then they wonder why when we actually are modeling that behavior all the time. So what are some of the problems? Well, first of it, if I ask you what's 4 plus 5 and you say it's 9, and then I go and ask you again, this person might be like, uh-oh, I must have said the wrong thing. I'll try a different number. So we can accidentally be teaching them what they're doing is wrong. Another issue is when we really want someone to say something like, help, we first keep asking them, do you need help? And they learn, oh, the first step is I need to wait. They're not actually learning to read the situation and jump in and ask for help when they need it. The other things, if we're asking so many questions, we start pushing out and there's not enough space for comments and opinions and sharing stories and all the other things that are really, really important for people to learn to be effective communicators. If all we do is ask questions, it no longer leads to these things. I find teaching's less fun when there's too many test questions, and I also realize I can only ask one question to a group. So if I have a classroom and I ask, which was the biggest, and I ask this one and he gets it right, well, I can't ask anyone else that question. And for some people, they need 3 models of a question before they understand the question and the type of response. So I don't want to get blocked after one. I want to be able to ask multiple people. So instead, what can we do? Well, first of all, we can reverse things. Let's say I have on the board some words. And here's the student, and here's the teacher. In the old paradigm, the teacher can say, Johnny, what's this? Red. What's this? Blue. What's this? Green. Instead, I could have him test me. Teacher, what's this? Red. What's this? Blue. What's this? Red. 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 And he can drive his own learning, and I'm actually being like a flashcard machine and driving it. So sometimes I reverse it and I let the kid quiz me. That also changes the dynamic. If I ask him a question, he can ask me a question, so he can practice doing both sides of question and answer. Another thing, I might do something where I give people a chance to share an opinion, because there's no right answer with an opinion. So I might, instead of saying, is this big or small, I might say, okay, well, we have big things, and we have small things, and we have teeny, tiny things. And then I might, if we had some cards or we were talking about some things, maybe this is a car, I might say, where do you think it is? Maybe this kid thinks it's big. Oh, Johnny thinks it's big. Where do you think it is? Maybe the next kid also puts it there. And how about you? Well, maybe this kid thinks it's small. And I go, oh, well, what's an example of a big thing? And they might say mountains. You're right. That is big and small. Because big and small are relative. And maybe we have another thing. And I can ask multiple kids, and we can sort it, and we can talk about it. Because they're just sharing their opinion. What do you think? I'm still learning how much they know about it. Another thing, instead of asking questions, I can ask them to describe things. So for example, if I had something like this, and I wanted to have somebody describe what they thought about going outside, they might say things like, "It's slippery. We have to walk slow. It's light outside at the moment, and it's too loud because it's recess." If I was asking somebody to describe who President Obama is, if I said, "Tell me about Obama," and someone said, "Boss man, USA, black man first," 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm getting 6 pieces of information, which for many kids would be easier to access on the type of communication devices they have, versus if I ask a test question of who is the president, they might know a ton about who the president is, have very strong opinions, pro or con, but they might not be able to find the letters to spell it, or it might not even be in their device. Sometimes I simply just have them demonstrate their knowledge by making a video or doing things like that. So it's not that it's a bad thing to have test questions, and there are times where, the kid who's learning their math facts might really love me asking questions because they know I know the answer and they can get the right answer. They're not inherently wrong, but they're not the most effective thing to be doing the majority of the time. It's just good to diversify and try some different things. Thanks.